Production funding for Ruckus has been provided by gifts from Dave and Jamie Cummings, the Hartwig family, Hush Blackwell, Barbara and Peter Gattermeyer, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to Ruckus, our weekly food for thought fight over the news of the day and the trends of the times. I'm Mike Shannon. The Ruckettes join me shortly, and our topics this week: a new hotel brings reservations. What's in a name? Controversy from the Plaza to Johnson County, that's what. And taxes still stirring controversy in Kansas. Plus roast and toast. But we start with our Newsmaker segment and focus on a Kansas City organization and the man most closely identified with it. The organization is usually referred to by its initials, CFRG. The name is Citizens for Responsible Government. The group is known for acquiring the city government's commitment to put the KCI question to a public vote and is currently trying to get the downtown hotel issue on the ballot. We welcome back to Ruckus Dan Coffey. Dan, thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
For folks who don't know a lot about CFRG, can you explain why it exists and how it came to be?
Well, it started as a group of individuals, about 4 or 5 people that wanted to try to make things better in our city. They weren't happy with the way things were going, so we had a little caucus and decided, well, what are we going to work on? And one guy said, well, I'd like to look at crime, and somebody else was going to look at the schools, and we're going to look at the budget, and so everybody was kind of assigned an area. And then the airport thing broke up, and so we thought, well, that's an interesting thing. They want to tear down our airport and build a $1.5 billion new airport, and so we went to the meeting. And at that meeting, we were told, after asking several questions, that seems to be what our mantra has been now, is we ask the questions. We kept asking questions, and we're finally told that, you can do whatever you want to do, but you can't stop this. We're going to build this airport. And so then we kind of thought, well, can we stop it? And we had a couple of attorneys in the group, and they said, yeah, we think we can do it.
So you have a guarantee that the issue will be on the ballot before any action is taken with KCI, and it does look as if there will be a one-terminal issue on the ballot probably in November.
That looks like that, yes.
And will your group then actively oppose a one-terminal airport?
At this point in time, I think yes, because we don't believe they're looking at all the options. We don't think all the options have been explored.
Do you want the airport renovated?
That's an option. That's certainly an option. We've seen some wonderful plans of renovation out there which never seem to get to the public.
Okay, your current project is the Downtown Convention Hotel that is proposed, 800 rooms. Mm-hmm. Do you not think a convention hotel downtown would be an asset for Kansas City?
All the statistics that we've seen say that the city doesn't need that hotel. Since this project has started, we've added more than 2,000 rooms in downtown Kansas City, the hotels. And almost every week you pick up the paper and there's another hotel being built. I think this week earlier I saw an article about a 20-story hotel down on the river proposed down there, So we don't know that we need that convention hotel. That's not our problem. Our problem is with the way they're financing it, using $167 million of taxpayer funds.
Well, now, how do you get to that figure? Because the news accounts that I've read say $35 million and some property.
That is by design. If you go back to the very first article that was written by the Kansas City Star, they outlined it all up. And the $167 million includes the tax abatements and the TIF money that's going to go in there, which is all taxpayer money. It's taking money away from other projects where it could go in the city. So you got $35 million in cash, which is taxpayer money. You got $5 million worth of land, and then the rest, the $127 million or so, is TIFs and tax abatements and other freebies.
Okay, you've done a petition drive, a referendum petition. How many signatures did you get?
We got I believe over 6,000 on that particular drive, yes.
Okay, but it does not appear that this is going to show up on the ballot. I talked with Councilman Dan Fowler in this slot last week, and he said he was pretty confident it would not be. The council seems to be able to find a way to avoid putting it on the ballot. Do you agree that that's likely?
Yes, and you just got to wonder why.
Is that because they've figured out something and have very good sense of statecraft, or do you consider this chicanery by the council?
I think it's chicanery. We look at it as chicanery. Oh. If it's such a good deal, why are there not developers lining up to get in on it? Just this last week, we heard that Hyatt, who was the front runner, and the hotel was going to be there from the very beginning. There was never even a contract with Hyatt. We talked to the Hyatt people this week, and now we have Lowe's coming in, and they're going to take it over. So how do you know what's going on down there? Almost everything that's been said is not true.
So if your referendum petition does not get on the ballot, and it appears it won't, what alternative course do you have, if any?
Well, a couple. We think we can, first of all, we're going to have to see what they're going to replace it with.
Yeah.
Now, they say they have an ordinance, they've already been passed, that they can replace that with. We're not quite so sure of that.
Okay, what's the other option, a lawsuit?
A lawsuit.
All right.
Challenging the new ordinance and challenging what they do.
If people want more information about your group, CFRG, do you have a website you can mention?
We have a Facebook page.
Okay.
Citizens for Responsible Government.
All right, Dan, good to see you again. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thanks for having me, Mike.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
That is Dan Coffey with Citizens for Responsible Government. Now let's meet the panel and start a ruckus. Crosby Kemper III is director of the Kansas City Library System and host of KCPT's Meet the Past and Centropolis programs. Gwen Grant is president and CEO of the Urban League in Kansas City. Steve Glorioso is a political and media consultant, and attorney Steve Marakian is with the law firm of Wersch, Hobbs, and Marakian. This is indeed the all-star panel. As you heard from Dan Coffey, he and others have hotel reservations. That is, concerns about city money being spent on a planned downtown convention hotel with no public vote. The project, headed by former councilman attorney Mike Burke, was announced in May 2015. Until recently, we thought it would be a Hyatt hotel, but with no detailed explanation, Burke announced a change last week, saying Hyatt is out and Lowe's is in. When the structure comes to fruition, presumably in early 2020, it will be known as Lowe's Kansas City Convention Center Hotel. Now that's creativity. The city's investment is about $35 million, we're told, and some property. There is dispute over that. On balance, is this a good deal for Kansas City taxpayers? We start with Steve Glorioso.
Well, yes, it is a good deal. We need, with all that we've done in Kansas City, going back to when people opposed what Kay Barnes was trying to do to give us a downtown, that was about 10 years ago. We had 7,000 people living downtown. We have 22,000 now. We have all sorts of venues have popped up over that period. And the one thing we've been missing is the ability to attract large conventions. You know, all the way back, Mike, to you used to do a great imitation of Ross Perot. He came to town when Cleaver, I think Cleaver was mayor, and proposed the convention hotel. It never got built. Mark Funkhauser actually started the ball rolling in his own inimitable way, and he made it very clear that he would be for it as long as it was private, and the city would not guarantee the debt, which they do not. This is a private project with Mr. Coffey.
We don't know.
Crosby, is this a good deal?
Know what the city's committed to or not. The city has not given us the deal. We haven't seen the deal. We know Lowe's has replaced a Hyatt, which supposedly was going to put $8 million in, and they say they're making a commitment, but we don't know what that commitment is. We don't know what the price is, the guaranteed price that they were supposed to come up with 9 months ago. We have $160 million of taxpayer money that's going to go into this deal. It's the taxpayers are the investors, and as every expert knows, it's a convention center folly. Everybody's doing this, and nobody's making any money on it. Low-wage jobs. It's a bad deal for the city. It's going to go through, and I'll be the first to get a drink. And you know something? The drink won't be free.
Okay, well, you say it's going to cost $160-some million
in taxpayer money. Yeah.
You say 35.
He's being very disingenuous in this.
No,
yes,
that's the city's number in the but-for test, Steve.
It comes from the taxes if the hotel is built. Is that not correct?
Right.
No hotel, no city money.
Right,
money.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's true all the way around.
That's called in a private partner, public partnership.
Called schools, libraries, mental health levy, subsidizing developers.
Tell me this, no hotel, not a penny for the schools, right, Chris? Isn't that right?
What do you mean no?
Well, if they don't build the hotel,
And
there
if
won't be any money that doesn't go to the schools.
No money for the schools.
Well,
But if the hotel is built, they will cannibalize the other deals because they won't create a lot of new conventions.
I don't think we're going to get agreement. So let me go over
Not
here
my
to Gwen.
speculation.
Well, yeah, some guy that's hired by the anti.
Gwen, do you think this referendum petition
leading expert.
question should have been placed on the city ballot? Do you think the city council is involved in chicanery, as Mr. Coffey suggests?
Well, yeah, I think the referendum should have been placed on the ballot. Anytime the petitioners get the signatures that are required to bring forth a referendum, it should be put before the voters, and I don't think we should get in the way of democracy.
Yeah, but when the
Steve,
charter says
Steve,
you repeal it, that they have the option to repeal it. That's what the petition's about.
That's also about manipulating the process.
And the council
Steve, come on, Steve.
will,
that's manipulating the process.
No, it isn't. They repeal the ordinance. That's perfectly within the charter.
Of course it is, but it's also manipulative.
So we have
to
the
stop the
streetcar with 5
The purpose
people.
of the vote is to repeal the ordinance, and the council does it. You don't need a vote, a $600,000 vote.
It's the all-star panel because they all talk at the same time. Now, Steve Marakian, get in here. Your office is downtown. Are you interested in this convention hotel? You see it as a major asset for Kansas City downtown?
No, I don't see it as a major asset or not. My concern is, and as always, I agree with my esteemed colleague Gwen.
Oh my God.
I think it should be voted on. We have a law, and I've been one who's been critical of use of this process too often, but it's a law. And I think they got the signatures. It should be voted on, particularly in this case, because I believe that there is merit to both what Steve and Crosby say, but we don't know enough at this point. I don't mind public-private partnerships at certain times. This one, as what I know right now, doesn't smell right to me. Okay, I think there ought to be a lot more information, and then it should be put to the public and let people vote, because I think in the long run there will be a massive debt to the people of Kansas City, in my view.
Steve Glorioso, what would be the consequences if this were on the ballot and people said, no, we don't want to fund it?
It would kill the project, and Mr. Coffey and his fellow travelers would probably be in line to get sued for interference with a tortious interference with a contract, and he might lose his mansion on Loose Park. But let me say this.
Well,
Here's what's really appalling. It is an abusive process. And I think even Chris would agree. This group of people, for 5 years, never once showed up at a council public hearing to ask questions or express any doubt about it. They just immediately go to the
Those who
masses.
did show up, Steve, were shut down by the council.
You got to show up to be shut down, Chris.
Yeah,
They never.
I showed
Okay,
up.
we're going
I showed up
all right,
and they
we're
shut
going
us
to
down.
move ahead now to the next area.
They never had a real discussion.
Low-key discussion.
They don't want one.
It was the great bard himself, Bill Shakespeare, who asked in Romeo and Juliet, "What's in a name?" One answer is enough to bring the Kansas City Star's editorial board to full liberal dudgeon when the Olathe Republican Party called its Faith and Freedom picnic Olathe Lives Matter. While the Star agrees that all lives matter, it asks, and I quote, "Why is the prospect of needling those who have been made to feel that their lives matter less or not at all so irresistible?" David Leitner, who chairs Olathe's GOP, said he was just trying to inject some lighthearted humor into the annual event. So which is it? Is the Star missing a sense of humor, or is Leitner missing the point? And we start with Crosby.
Well, is the Star missing a sense of humor? Is the Pope Catholic? But really, Black Lives Matter was based on real issues with police shooting young black men, and so there, I think there's a problem for suburban white people, making fun of it. On the other hand, Black Lives Matter has trivialized itself over the last year or two. Showing up at the Republican convention with Palestinian terrorist organization in tow. Talking about BDS, the divestment of investment in Israel, preventing academics from Israel speaking on American college campuses, stuff like that. It doesn't seem to have a lot to do with the shooting of young black men. I think this is a tempest in a teapot.
I think it's an overreaction by the Star's editorial board.
I wouldn't have done it if I were Dave Leitner, but I wouldn't have written the editorial if I was the Kansas City Star.
All right, same question to Gwen. Is the Star missing a sense of humor, or is Mr. Leitner missing the point?
Mr. Leitner is missing the point, and the Star did the right thing to write the editorial and shine a light on it. It was insulting, it was insensitive, and certainly not in alignment with the principles of diversity and inclusion and valuing the lives of, when we talk about all lives matter, this was just totally insulting. And so, yeah, the Star, I don't think that there's anything humorous about someone losing their life and a race of people feeling that our lives don't matter.
Do you think that's what Leitner and the Olathe GOP had in mind when they titled the event Olathe Lives Matter?
I don't know what they intended, but what I'm looking at is the impact, and that's what we have to be judged by.
Do you think a lot of people were
What we-
impacted by this rally that nobody actually knew about unless you're a Republican
I'm talking
in
about
Johnson
the
County?
impact of his words, the impact of the message, the impact of, Olathe Lives Matter, how that impacts the lives of people who have suffered the loss of family members, how that impacts the lives of the LGBT community when you
Well, but they're not
trivialize
impacted by a
our
Kansas City
issues.
Star editorial.
The
or-
trivialization is
The
everywhere.
trivialization
Do you know
is
what comes up
insulting.
first if you Google Black Lives Matter? It's the sale of T-shirts on Amazon.
What about your point of view, Steve? You're a Johnson County Republican. Do you think people should be offended by this event titled Olathe Lives Matter?
No, I am sensitive to what Gwen just said, and for me personally, I am sensitive to it. But I do agree. I view these things on three simple criteria, okay? Because people clearly say things that sometimes offend others. Does it incite violence? Is it overtly racist? And is it extremely vulgar? None of these three apply. And I use this analogy, okay? Recently, John McEnroe said that Serena Williams is the greatest female tennis player in the world, but she wouldn't beat the 700th rated man. Serena herself 2 years ago said, I couldn't play in the men's game. I would lose 6-0, 6-0 to Andy Murray in 15 minutes. Now, she's now the victim, and in fact, now even portraying herself as the victim of a sexist and racist comment. We need to back off in our society.
When did she say that was racist?
She told him to shut up.
Yeah,
Actually, is what she,
yeah.
which she should have. I mean,
no,
it's
she
typical John McEnroe
didn't say
nonsense.
she didn't say it's racist,
Sexist.
but other people are saying that.
She
now,
told him to shut
so
up.
all I'm saying
I
is
agree
this.
with that.
Okay, Black Lives Matter was important when it started, but I agree with that noted racist Stevie Wonder, who says that what they need to do, Black Lives Matter is only meaningful if you start talking about the fact that it is largely black kids killing other black kids. We've got to stop this. Then it becomes important,
All right,
but it's been trivialized.
Other Steve, and about 30 seconds, if you will, your reaction to this
Well-
Olathe Lives Matters controversy.
First of all, I know Dave Leitner, even though he's in another party, and he's a good person.
Yeah.
And I think if he had it to do over again, he would have found some different words. But this is very sensitive. I sit and watch these trials, the outcome. To me, police are assassinating young black
Yes,
men
they
in this
are.
country. And
That's not a correct word.
even with
It is true.
videotape, none of them are getting convicted. And
Thank
so,
you.
regardless of, you can argue all you want, but if someone can, Gwen, I'm obviously white, and I sit there and I wonder, what would it feel like to be a black in America and watch this over and over again? And then, so you can't trivialize it.
Well,
And
but
you-
these
and
things
you
are a
can't-
tiny,
The word
and you
assassination
can't-
tiny
trivializes.
portion
You
of
can't
the
come from a
trials
white
that take place.
privileged
It's not all
perspective
right.
to analyze the
And they're not-
crime.
Shooting people in
They're
the
not
back.
all, they're not all white juries,
couple
and
of
most
those,
of them
yeah.
are by minority police
Okay.
officers.
Yeah,
Next
at least
topic.
one of those guys was
It
convicted.
was Deep Throat who told Woodward and Bernstein to follow the money in Watergate, and that might be good advice for Republicans as players step forward to compete in next year's GOP gubernatorial primary. Follow how the various candidates respond to the recently enacted $1.2 billion income tax increase and its implications. We already have some early readings. Chris Kobach vows to, in his words, stop the madness of tax increases. Former state senator and 2006 gubernatorial nominee Dr. Jim Barnett calls legislators who supported the increases courageous. So, is taxation the right topic for Kansas Republicans? And 2018 the right time? And we start with Mr. Marakian.
Well, taxation is only the right issue if, in fact, they get away from the Brownback message, which is not accepted with even most Republicans now, and focus on the notion of spending reduction. They should be focusing, in my view, on 3 or 4 things, whoever runs. And if it's Kobach, what I would say he should focus on is going to be the reform in terms of what we're doing with our schools, consolidation in the districts, and local financing. That should be something they should work on. Secondly, they should talk about spending cuts, deep spending cuts in areas where they can do spending cuts. They should talk about pension reform, which is devastating states like Illinois, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and so forth, and could hit Kansas very hard if we don't do something here. And lastly, if it's Kobach, and I know this is an issue that people really don't like, but it resonates in central and western Kansas, voter fraud. He should focus on that because it'll get him a ton of votes. Now, again, you can argue whether it's legitimate or not. He sells it extremely well, and in central and western Kansas, they love it.
Well, he's part of that national commission that's going to look into voter fraud.
There's a liberal group in Kansas who hates it. Some Republicans, moderate Republicans, don't like it. I'm telling you, it's not my big issue. I'm saying it is his big issue, and it sells extremely well. If he wants to be the governor, he should pound on it.
So, Crosby, is that the best issue for Kobach to pursue, a cut in income taxes?
So in terms of taxes, Kansas was a relatively high tax state before Brownback got here. Then it went to the middle with the Brownback cuts. Now it's going to go back to be a relatively high tax state. On the other hand, the Supreme Court of the state of Kansas says there's some number somewhere that is the right number per pupil to spend. Now, they don't know what that number is, and there's no research that they can look to. They have a consultant in Denver that tells them that they're not getting enough money in Kansas. But we're right in the middle now, 25th in the United States with the Brownback cuts. In education per pupil, and higher than any OECD, any industrial country in the world except possibly Switzerland.
All right.
And the point is, what's behind either the cuts or the increase in taxes? There's no rationale to any of this. There's no real analysis going on.
The Kansas economy was failing with Brownback's tax reform. I mean, what do you mean? What's behind
it? The
They're
Kansas
trying
economy
to
wasn't
say
failing. It was at the national level, despite the huge drop in commodity prices for oil and wheat, which are two of the biggest money makers for the state of Kansas.
Gwen, since the Kansas income taxes have been increased retroactively, and they're not as much now as they were before the Brownback tax cuts, but do you think the public in Kansas is willing to say, okay, we'll accept these increases and don't talk about this anymore?
Well, I really have no idea what the voters
you would
in Kansas
think they should
really.
accept
I would
the
think they should
increases
accept
and
the
move on.
increases and move on to rebuilding their economy and fully funding education and moving more to the center as opposed to the far right conservatism that Brownback brought to the state.
Steve, is this going to be the 2018 election going to be a good time for Kansas Democrats, do you think, especially in the gubernatorial race?
Yeah, it should be. Kansas actually now they've elected a lot of Democrats as governor. I go back, you and I go back through the years. But it should be a good year. I don't think the issue will be voter fraud, but I agree with this, Steve, that it will resonate in the primary.
You think it will resonate?
Well, I think somewhat. The Star hadn't printed this. Kobach got admonished by the court recently on one of his things for not fully disclosing information or withholding information from either the court or the
But that's in a lawsuit and nobody reads it.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
But the point is it's just another sign he's making this stuff up. But the thing is, I think the tax issue is going to be the only issue. What do you want to pay and what do you want to get for what you pay? And I think on that issue, the Kansas voters, the majority, are moving away from the supply slide economics, which once again, didn't work.
Well, it worked for Reagan during the Reagan administration.
Only when he raised taxes.
It works in other states. All right, now we got to head to the soapbox for Roast and Toast, where the Ruckettes have 30 seconds each to appreciate or denigrate people and events in the news, and we begin with Gwen.
I'm toasting Steve Kraske for his courageous and provocative editorial calling for the removal of J.C. Nichols' moniker from the J.C. Nichols fountain on the plaza. Steve got it right when he wrote that J.C. Nichols went to great lengths to ensure that blacks and Jews could not live in the neighborhoods he developed west of Truce, and his legacy remains today. Kansas City is one of the most segregated cities in the country, thanks to J.C. Nichols. I've heard the rumblings of a group of people who strongly agree with Kraske Pulaski. In fact, they are giving strong consideration to advancing a grassroots petition drive to remove Nichols from the fountain. I hope they have the courage and the will to do so.
All right, Mr. Marakian.
I'm toasting Neil Gorsuch for being the Supreme Court justice we all hope for and that our country desperately needs, for adherence to the Constitution as it is written, rather than as progressives would like it to be. Despite all of President Trump's many flaws, millions of Americans voted for him precisely because they wanted a constitutional conservative on the Supreme Court. Now they have one. Like Antonin Scalia, Justice Gorsuch is unafraid to clearly articulate his constitutional conservatism in a concise and forceful manner. For the first time in a long while, a Supreme Court judge has energetically affirmed that the First Amendment protects both religious thought and religious practices. That's no surprise. That's exactly what it says.
Crosby.
So I want to toast Pete Cowden and Deb Pettit, who have moved now from a great children's bookstore, the Reading Reptile, to creating the Rabbit Hole, the National Center for the Children's Book. They have a building now and a vision to make Kansas City the center of imagination and beauty in children's literature.
Steve.
I want to roast Congressman Kevin Yoder. Yoder voted for the Trump Care bill that would throw millions of Americans off Medicaid. Contrary to what some conservatives claim, Medicaid is not a free health insurance for those lazy minorities who won't get a job. Instead, it is millions of dollars affecting millions of seniors in nursing homes across our country, including thousands in Johnson County. Cuts that Yoder supports will throw seniors out of their nursing homes, and where do they go? On the couch of their kids or out on the street? Mr. Yoder, at long last, have you any more sense of decency?
All-star panelists don't recognize the limitations of 30 seconds. And that is Ruckus for this time. We're back next Thursday at 7. Now for the Ruckettes and the crew, I'm Mike Shannon saying thanks for watching and good night.